All right. All right.
All right.
Greetings
How
and
does Jordan do
salutations,
it?
I can't do
gamers.
the high pitch thing like Jordan can.
Welcome to Cast Co-op, the podcast in which three podcast hosts cast together. I am one of your hosts, Luke Lore, host of the Xbox Expansion Pass, the Insipid Ghost, and I am joined by two of my good friends. Well, one and a half if you have to get technical. The first, of course, is Season Gaming's Ainsley Bowden, host of the Bitcast. Hello, sir.
Hello. Why am I only getting a half? That's not cool.
Ains, you said a lot of hurtful things lately. Okay? You said a lot of hurtful things. So here we are.
No,
Here
I'm
we
good, man. Glad to be here as always. This is one of my favorite casts that I get to do with you guys. It's always a good laugh, and the community's awesome. So what's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. I don't know what we're going to talk about, but it's going to be fun, I'm sure.
It will indeed. And of course, host of the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, Mr. Joseph Moran, Mr. Badbit. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
I'm doing all right. You're doing good. You published some good work there. You guys have had a chance in this PlayStation community to celebrate a director's cut recently released, I believe. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, and apparently it's not even really worth the $10 upgrade. Who would have known? Who would have guessed? Not me.
You're being facetious, right? Because from what I hear is a pretty meaty expansion on there. Is that true?
The expansion's very meaty. So depending on the reviewer, they're saying anywhere between 4 to 6 hours of just story content, and then extra content on top of that. So it's around like a 8 to 10 hour experience, give or take. So the experience itself, from you check out the Trophy Room, where we have Steve from Squad State on to talk about it. But yeah, it's really good if you're a big fan of Ghost of Tsushima. But the PS5 upgrade is not necessary, because the free upgrade they gave you back in October does a really good job as well. So yeah.
Oh, wait, you've had two I'm being serious. You've had two upgrades for this game?
Yes. One is like an enhanced PS4 mode where it's at a locked not native 4K but 60 FPS. And it just has like the basic, no adaptive triggers or DualSense. And then you have the upgrade, like the native PS5 game, that has the haptics, it has the adaptive triggers, it'll have close to native 4K, and it does not break 60 at all.
That's such a convoluted system.
No way, really?
I don't know why they do it. It doesn't make any
so
sense.
weird.
Because they're a greedy company that wants money. It makes sense to me.
You're getting people to just give it to anyone who buys the expansion or something, or do it. You're going to make extra money from the expansion. Just give the upgrade for free and say, by the way, you can also play this expansion.
It's just funny to me because I think back to when we found out the names of these new systems, Series S and X, and PlayStation 4 and 5, and we all praised 4 and 5 for being easy to understand.
Yeah.
S and X, we were like, okay, is it the 1X? Is it Grandma at the store?
The grandmas, Luke, the grandmas.
Grandma's gonna have a friggin' aneurysm if her kid wants Ghost of Tsushima Upgrade 5 Super Edition expansion.
Well, listen, she has a hard enough time opening up that PS5, so
She hadn't even
that
put it together
SSD.
yet. It's just in pieces.
yeah.
Oh,
I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm supposed to remind you to renew your subscription for Thermal Grease. Joe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our good friend
That joke
James
landed
Suddy.
the first time, Suddy.
Yeah. Shout out to Suddy, by the way. My man, in and out of the hospital. He's a trooper. He's a badass. We
right.
love him dearly, and he's going home today at the time of this recording. So much love to you, my friend. Yeah,
Couldn't get it right the first time, so he had to do it again.
Just like Sony. Looking forward to that PS5 revision.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Guys, we've got plenty to talk about on this week's episode. Call of Duty Vanguard has been officially announced. Ains, I'm anxious to pick your brain, not just about Call of Duty, but about, he's already passed out.
Yeah,
but I do sincerely want to discuss the opinions that we have about boycotting and not boycotting, not in terms of like, we should all boycott change.org, but like philosophically why it's okay or not okay to buy a game for a company. I really want to have that conversation. for sure. We, of course, are going to talk about Square-Enix doing some strange oddities and royalty fees with the Outriders developers People Can Fly, because there's an interesting sets of breakdowns that I think we should examine. And then, of course, we are all playing a couple different games. I've got the Wakanda expansion for Avengers. I know 12 Minutes is in rotation now as well. We can't talk about it yet, but I'm playing a game that is not starring the Predator. That's all I can say there. So, yeah. Pretty crazy stuff, guys.
Oh, my God.
Thank you. Somebody spoke there. I was like, someone say something.
We're playing. There's a Transformers game.
There's a Transformers game. There's several, in fact. Yep. All righty, guys. Well, let's start with this Call of Duty bit here and there. Call of Duty Vanguard has been announced. It is if I remember correctly, the campaign will star 4 multicultural heroes in World War II. And that's what I got. That's what I'm thinking. I got a lot of thoughts about that single player and my confidence in it. I got a lot of thoughts about that multiplayer and my confidence in it. But take it away. Did either of you watch this trailer?
I watched it, and I can literally tell you there's a couple of Germans shouting in a tank, explosions from one war zone to the other. Mm-hmm. It kind of gives me the feeling of Battlefield 1, right? Where it's the vignettes. You know, they show you the European theater, they show you the Pacific theater, and like all these, and also the Western Front. And so like they're showing you these different parts of the world. And honestly, if this was Call of Duty 10 plus years ago, I'd be totally down, because I'm like, that was the one thing I was missing back in the day. It was just constantly the European theater until World at War. Mm-hmm. So, to me, watching this trailer, nothing hit, man. It was a snooze fest. What else is there to say? It's a Call of Duty trailer. You get some cinematics, you get a lot of Michael Bay explosions, cut to things that are deceitful gameplay that's not actually representative of what you're going to get, and then Finn. That's it. Done.
Yep. I am 100% with Joe, completely aligned. I actually told someone earlier, I said, the only thing Call of Duty's done right the past few years is their trailer. Because you get the same type of trailer every year, makes everything look amazing, and, you know, they try to kind of get the fans hyped up, which works, of course, but it's just fallen really flat for me lately. The fact that their whole development cycle that they had going for a few years with Sledgehammer, Treyarch, and Infinity Ward is screwed up as of last year. Cold War launched. Our reviewer, Phasma, who listens to this show, couldn't even finish the game because the campaign was so broken.
But then, what did she go ahead and say on Twitter?
Of course,
right after,
of course, which I already gave her crap about, by the way.
We'll tell the listeners though, because that was
she already saw the trailer today and pre-ordered because she's super excited for Vanguard.
So I'm interrupting only to say, Call of Duty Cold War was a broken mess of a game. Consistently, I could not play with my friends. And my buddy Kev tried to tell me that it was a me problem, meaning that like nobody else had issues with it. And I thought that game was an absolute mess. It's still Call of Duty, so you're able to have those bursts of fun, but it really fell flat. And I am surprised by two things. One, people are excited about this World War II Call of Duty shooter after the broken mess that was Cold War. And two, for all the hoopla about Activision, and I didn't see much of that on my timeline either. And that was odd.
And
very odd.
On your first point, all the things that led to Cold War being broken last year have happened again with this game. The development was scrapped. They had to move different teams in. Sledgehammer's been made a support studio. Treyarch took over main development. Pandemic obviously still going on. There's still a lot of things that could contribute to this game being a mess, which is why we kind of all knew, as Joe said, the trailer they showed today was a bunch of cinematics and mix mash. There's not a whole lot showing the game itself. In fact, what they came out at the very end of this presentation and said is, we'll talk more about the specifics, I have it somewhere, a few weeks before launch, which should tell you, if you pay attention to these things, that they're coming down to the wire, and you can damn well expect some things are going to be messed up at launch on this game.
Yeah.
Just like Cold War.
Also, I forgot to mention the African front as well. They show off. All these things have been covered by Call of Duty, and I feel like it's just we're going over familiar territory just to go over familiar territory. I like none of like, and it sucks to say because like World War II is a moment in time, right? That actually happened, but it's kind of like I'm looking at these things going, been there, done that. Like I'm looking at the African front with the tanks, and I'm like, I did this in Call of Duty too. I look at the Western front, I did that in Call of Duty too. I look at the European theater, I did that in Call of Duty, like what 1, 2, and 3, and then the Pacific Front did that in in World at War. So to me, none of this. Like, they have to show me something really unique in terms of, like, actually the Pacific theater. I think there was in Call of Duty 3, or no, World at War, where you're fighting in the Philippines. I would love to see more of the island-to-island combat that actually happened there. That would be really cool. But, yeah, like, I know we're not going to get that because we just see some dude in an airplane. And I'm like, okay, so we're going to have aerial combat. It's going to be watered down and not great.
No, it's going to be the same call-in nonsense you've seen for kill streaks a million times. I mean, Call of Duty, in terms of innovating game mechanics, is lifeless. Absolutely lifeless.
It is lifeless in its multiplayer, but we must credit Warzone for coming into a Fortnite world and doing well.
Yeah, well, Warzone's, Warzone's huge. And I think, honestly, we don't know, right? But I think that's part of why development for these games got thrown into flux as well, is that Warzone really took off. And now they have to figure out how to keep supporting Warzone and mixing it in with their new releases, which, of course, they did today, right? They did a reveal within Warzone for Verdansk, which is part of this, the era. But I don't know, guys. I'm pretty negative on Call of Duty. I've had the years where, like Modern Warfare 2 years ago, I bought Day One, which was the first Call of Duty I bought Day One, and a few years prior to that. Really enjoyed it for what it was. Got bored of the multiplayer pretty quickly because it's same old to me. Yeah. But I can only take so much of the same stuff every year of kind of like mixed up development, lack of innovation, the gunplay and kind of the kill streaks, and the moment-to-moment multiplayer action is so samey year in, year out. It doesn't do much for me anymore.
Yeah, I think that's my problem also, is that when I play Call of Duty and when it works, it's fun, but it's the same game I played 10, 15 years ago. And I say that in a negative way, whereas there are other games where I'm like, the same game I played 10 years ago and I'm happy. There's something about Call of Duty that does feel stale next to a genre that's evolving. What I am curious about, I suppose there's several things I'm curious about. In what I have heard, I have not played Battlefield 2042, 3. I've not played it. Right. Okay, so I've not played it. I want to be very clear with that. But what I've seen on the socials and in the Reddits is not compelling to make me think that game is ready. From what I hear and see about Call of Duty, my inclination is to say something very similar. And our two military shooters are launching. Halo will probably, by the time when the show's launching tomorrow, by the end of this month, we are likely to know the Halo's release date. Yep. And we think we've got a good idea of exactly where it's landing. If Halo is ever going to be successful, it'll be with this launch. This is the best case scenario for Halo. The best case scenario for it. And if I'm EA, I'm delaying the mess out of Battlefield and let Call of Duty's damage be done, because I don't. If ever Halo is going to be successful, it's this year, and if ever Call of Duty is going to fail, it will be this year, right? Because Call of Duty is this juggernaut, but with the Activision stuff and the troubled state of Cold War, Vanguard might be a disaster as well. Now, when I say disaster, I don't mean that in the inflammatory YouTuber way. I realize as soon as I said that word, that's a bigger word than just like, it may not go well. Yeah. So am I off in thinking any of those things? Am I exaggerant? Am I all caps YouTube titles, shock face?
The only thing I would sorry, Joe, go ahead.
Now, Luke, listen, I'm a gamer just like you. All right.
How long have you been gaming?
50 some odd years at this point.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
I've been playing Call of Duty since I was a toddler. Shouldn't have been. Yeah. No, like, and I think I want. Yeah, exactly. No, when I take a look at the Call of Duty situation, and I think you're right. I think if this is Halo's year to shine, like if I am Call of Duty, I am a little bit nervous. If I am Battlefield, and if the state of that game is from what we've heard, I'm quite alarmed because I am petrified because I would, if it is as broken as I did not, I can only take a guess from Reddit. If it's as bad as what people are saying, that game needs to be pushed because I think the fate of Battlefield is on that game, and it ought to, for that fan base, be shippable. Anyway, if I'm Halo, I'm feeling really confident right now, where I feel like I can make a serious dent in the holiday cycle with Halo. Like, I really feel like even after watching this trailer, Halo could come out before, after, or during the week of Call of Duty and kick its ass.
Fair.
I want them to.
I would love to see that. Let's remember, right, that Warzone is free, of course, and they'll get the update with the Verdansk. But to play Vanguard multiplayer is still a paid entry, just like it's always been. You're paying, and it's $70 for new consoles, by the way, even on Xbox. Whereas Halo multiplayer is free to play, as we know, and campaign will be in Game Pass, which is however many million subscribers by the end of the year on PC and Xbox. But I don't know. The one thing I would only say to that, Luke, which continues to surprise, I can't say disappoint me because it's not my money and I don't care, but I am baffled. Yeah. And I'm not pointing at Phasma or any of my other friends because I already know a couple other people that I know will buy Call of Duty, despite complaining about how bad Cold War was and how bad like the online netcode is. I mean, literally, I run into Call of Duty complaining every week that we talk about games, and yet
they just announced like a new anti-cheat thing, right?
Yeah, and I mean, companies announce that stuff all the time, right? We'll see if it actually has any impact. But
I love that anti-cheat had to be their selling point.
Yeah, that's what I
cheated in our game.
Yeah, if you can't read the line between the lines here that this game's going to be kind of messy like Cold War was, you're not paying attention. And I don't understand the mentality of literally paying someone to punch you in the face year after year. I just don't get it. And people say, well, I have fun with it. And it's like, well, do you? Because all I really do is hear you complaining about how broken it is. So I'm not sure. I don't get the mentality.
Said, I did like Cold War's multiplayer a lot. I was pretty darn good at it. Luke could agree with that. And maybe maybe that's why I liked it so much. But like, the single player wasn't good enough. And if I have the choice of spending $70 on a multiplayer game that I know I'm going to give up on in about 2.5 months after release, or walk into a Halo experience where it's free, it's from what we've played and what we've seen, it is incredibly polished. And I'm going to choose Halo. Like, that's it. I think Halo is also the only one that is feeling different out of all these games. And I think
that's true too.
Taking the 5-year break away from Halo, or what is it, 5 or 6 year break from Halo? Is what that franchise desperately needed. And I think Halo's in a good state. But I do want to say this. With all the drama coming out of Vanguard, or Activision-Blizzard rather, with the California lawsuit, it goes to note that, and I want to get their name right here, Matt Piscatella over at MPD has predicted Call of Duty Vanguard will be the best-selling game in 2021, right? Yeah. So do you think that all these boycotts, outrage, the fact that so many people are, what's the word I want to use? Maybe tired of the Call of Duty formula or the way that these games have come out in the recent years. Does that shock you that MPD's like still going to be the best-selling game? So, like, what is, and if it isn't, then what is a quote-unquote failure for Call of Duty this year?
So can I say one thing, Luke? Because I realize I want to make sure people understand, like because I was thinking back to what I said, and it's like, I think one of the concepts that is out there with Call of Duty is it's almost like it's the fall blockbuster that comes out every year, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like it's becoming like the Fast and Furious movies, where it's like, it's like, it's going to be stupid. This, it's just a big budget, see it with your friends, popcorn type event.
Mhm.
And Call of Duty has kind of filled that space. And I know so many people who are like, they just buy it every year to play with the group of friends that play Call of Duty every year. That there's nothing wrong with it. I think that's awesome. I don't understand the mentality of the lack of innovation. I think that gets to me. But the other point, Joe, to the Halo thing, trust me, nothing would make me happier to see Halo kind of on top of the world again. But the fact of the matter is, PlayStation is the biggest install base for these games, for Call of Duty, I mean, and Halo's not on PlayStation. So right away, the fact that they're on one extra platform that has 130 plus million users at this point, or whatever it may be, 100 plus easily,
Right.
plays a big
Don't
factor
worry, in a year, they're dead.
So I just, I don't know what failure looks like for Call of Duty. I think they will be the number one selling. They're always the number one selling. Cold War, and if you look at the MPD that came out for 2021 just last week, Call of Duty was at the top of it for this year too with Cold War. So it's like,
failure, I think, for them is not doing as well as the game prior.
yeah,
Right. And that was something that they saw that happen with Infinite Warfare, where it didn't perform as well as Black Ops 3, I believe that timeline lines up. Oddly, I liked Infinite Warfare.
I liked it too. That was my actually favorite one until Modern Warfare.
Wow, that's just a terrible opinion on both cases.
I like Infinity Ward of the three developers. I like their games the best. So
I think the worst part is I like Call of Duty, but I'm sick of it.
Joe.
No, I'm thinking. What is my favorite developer out of the two?
I thought you were sighing for me and Luke saying that we like Infinite Warfare.
I mean, half.
Treyarch is my least favorite of them.
Me too.
Yeah, because Sledgehammer. Well, Sledgehammer.
What's the other one?
Treyarch and Infinity Ward.
Infinity Ward. But Sledgehammer has been relegated now. Remember, they came out and said Sledgehammer is going to be a support studio now, which is kind of what threw everything into flux.
Right.
Which it's Sledgehammer, but like Raven as well. Like
Raven helps with some of the remasters and some of the multiplayer maps. Yeah.
Oof.
Sometimes that's the problem. That's the fear of acquisitions of studios for sure, is they get relegated to support duty. I do want to reflect on the fact that I like Call of Duty, but I like Fast and Furious, but I'm tired of it. And I haven't even seen the latest Fast and Furious. I don't think I'm touching. Well, I know that philosophically I'm not touching an Activision game this year, and I wanted to have that conversation if you guys don't mind. In years past, the past few years, I've gotten review codes for most Activision titles. Even if those come to pass this year,
listen to him spouting, Joe.
I know how to make an email and curtail it to a PR's person's desire.
Goddamn point here. trying to really, speak to the people about my position on this.
Right.
Now he's calling them the people, Joe. You hear this? The commoners. I heard him say.
Right. Go on.
Go ahead.
Go say your piece.
Yeah. Get on your pedestal so you can reach the mic.
I'm going to back up. In years past, I've been fortunate enough to get review codes. And even if that comes to pass this year, I this time won't be snagging them. I won't be taking advantage of them. Cold War let me down in a lot of gameplay methods, but that's okay. It's the plight of a reviewer and whatnot. However, philosophically, after everything that's gone on with Activision this year, I just kind of wanted to wash my hands of it for a short-term period to see if indeed anything does get better. What was interesting to me in watching this announcement is Belinda Garcia is somebody I've followed on Twitter for some time. She's involved with Call of Duty Vanguard as a writer. And so I had that really interesting moral conundrum of saying, all right, even if it's a review code, I don't plan on covering it. If the chance comes where it's on sale or something, I'm not going to be spending my money in it. And simply put, I'm going to be putting my attention elsewhere. There's a lot of things this fall anyway, so it's an easy decision. Yeah. And then to see a person that I appreciate on socials, I do not know Belinda Garcia, but I appreciate her work and see her on socials, and I value a lot of what she says and does. be tied to it, I had that moral conundrum, right? And I've seen Diablo 2 come out, and I know that Ains, you and several of your friend group are playing it.
Yeah.
The
beta, yeah.
Okay, so the beta, all right. But we've referenced in brief conversations the fact that you guys are playing it with no worry about a philosophical boycott. I don't mean, again, the change.org mess. I just mean in general, like, I don't want to feel comfortable. So I'm in that moral conundrum. I stand by, and I am not going to play or purchase or support Activision this year.
Okay.
But it did kind of kick me a little bit seeing Miss Garcia and seeing you guys talk about Diablo. And I'm like, all right, am I wrong here? Where do I stand? Do I stand firm in what I said before? And I do, but I want to know where you guys are coming from. And Joe, if you would hold off and hear Ains' response before weighing in, that'd be amazing.
I just want to say, audience, did you hear he said stand back and stand by?
God damn it, dude.
I got alarmed. As a Hispanic, I wanted to run out the door.
Come on, man. Come on.
He said stand by twice. I was like, this is a funny joke.
I don't even know why he keeps putting pictures of boats in our private chat right now.
I hate it here.
This is weird.
This is the worst. I'm trying to have this deep conversation.
Yeah.
In the genesis of this show, I was like, guys, it'll be great. We'll all host podcast. Great. We'll bring our minds here.
Yeah.
Oh, like a fart in the wind. That was gone.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in between on this one. Shout out to Steve, who wrote a really good article on this for Season Gaming, because he wrote about it from both perspectives, like understanding both perspectives of you are going to boycott or you're not going to boycott. And not taking a stand, but just kind of giving the philosophical approach to both sides. Good people on both sides type thing. Luke, for you.
Well, hold on, Ains. Did you see what Joe just put in chat? He said, "Get back to work. Keep crunching. I want my game." That's weird of you to say to Activision. They're doing 12-hour days, man.
Yeah.
Make it 13.
All right.
Yeah, you thought I'd back down. I doubled down on it.
Let me be honest with you. Here's what I think, and people will probably disagree with me. I think that if you want to boycott, and that gives you, you kind of feel better about the fact that you're not putting money towards the publishing company that has done so much harm and is so kind of wrong in their ideals and all these kind of backwards thinking executives work at. I completely understand that. And I think to a degree, just my opinion, to a degree, it'll have some effect. When I say some, I truly mean minimal. Because whether we like it or not, say it again.
Like Cyberpunk minimal, they had to give back like $2 million and they barely noticed, that kind of thing.
Oh, I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah. If this is
they had to refund a bunch of games, but they couldn't have cared less.
On the PlayStation, yeah. I mean that did nothing, right? It doesn't make any difference to them. It's pocket change. But I think where was I? Damn it, made me lose my train of thought.
Probably a good point anyway.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's fair. So my point being is, I'm back.
Okay, good.
So I think that will have minimal effect, because whether we like it or not, the broad range of people buying Call of Duty, and I think to a lesser degree Diablo, because it's more of a specialized game, hardcore game, but Call of Duty specifically being their biggest game by far, right, and the amount of money it generates, you really haven't seen Warzone fall off, and you haven't seen, you're not going to see Call of Duty sales drop that much, because the people just that are buying this in droves, the 99%, aren't even aware of this situation. They have no idea anything's going on with Activision-Blizzard. They walk in November, say they want the new Call of Duty, and it's sold. Mm-hmm. Then you have the other percentage who do know and don't care, or do know and have decided, I'm going to buy Call of Duty anyway, which subtracts the 1% even more. So my main point is, it's financially, I don't think it's going to have a big enough impact of the people boycotting to really negatively or positively make any change at Activision. Now, what we did start seeing, and I think we've talked about some other people about this too, is we did start seeing corporate sponsors start pulling back from Activision and Blizzard. We saw Overwatch's esports sponsor pull out. We saw, I want to say Coke or, two other big kind of sponsors of events for Activision pull back, and Call of Duty as well. So once you start losing those things and you're talking about contracts that are tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, and it starts impacting the bottom line of Activision Blizzard and the share price, their market cap, that's when Bobby Kotick comes running out to say anything he can to try and stop the bleeding, right? That's the kind of stuff. So I think, again, damn it, man, I went long-winded again. But what I'm trying to I was thinking I'm trying not to be as long-winded, but
no, you're good.
I think my perspective is that the only thing that's really going to impact is those types of events where the community has a big enough voice and comes together like they have over the past month to make corporate sponsors say, oh, we don't want our name associated with this. This is getting risky for us, right? Our reputation. That impacts the bottom line of Activision. That's when you're going to start to see change. The boycotting that I know you guys are doing, and I'm certainly not disagreeing with it. Like I said, it's a personal thing. I just don't realistically think it's going to have much of an impact. Now, ideally, I'd be on that boat with you too. And I got to be honest again, it would be near impossible for me to mentally not buy Diablo 2.
Right.
I just,
it's your game.
Yeah, I mean, This is one of the all-time greats, and not to make excuses. If I thought that me not buying it would have a positive impact, I wouldn't buy it.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, I would stop myself from buying it, but I just don't think me buying Diablo 2 is going to have a realistic impact.
Yeah, I agree with you there. For me, I said it very much in the moment. I was like, I on the trophy room, I was like, I don't want to even talk about them. I don't want to cover them. It angers me, knowing people that have gone through similar shitty things. It angered me, rightfully so, as it should anger everyone. But looking as the weeks have gone by, I'm like, I actually don't know if that's the right approach, because the damage isn't gonna be, the impact's not gonna be big. I mean, look, if the thing in Hong Kong didn't do anything to them, if they didn't see a hit from the community other than people raising outrage, then they're not, theoretically, nothing big's gonna happen here. And I was talking to a person who is in a very small indie thing in New York, and I was talking to him about, hey man, I just want to get you're a developer. I just want to get your insight. Well, if I didn't buy your thing, if I boycotted your thing, going back to Activision-Blizzard, does that hurt you? And he's just like, honestly, I can understand why you would want to boycott us or Activision-Blizzard, but at the end of the day, it's your money. If you don't feel comfortable, like you say, don't do it, but understand that, the worst thing that's going to happen to us is that we don't hit a goal. And what ends up happening there, a sales goal, is that our bonuses are going to be affected. Yep. So you are screwing me over. He's like, I know your heart's in the right place, but you would be screwing me over if you didn't do that, if it was a mass thing.
Yep.
On the other hand,
how do they learn then? Not they, the developer, the publisher.
Well, so here's a Blizzard employee on Twitter. I'm not going to say the name just in case. They said, on one hand, I completely agree and understand why people would want to spend their money elsewhere rather than support a company that doesn't align with their morals. On the other hand, it's real bad feeling for those of us women who still work and fight daily at said company. When people don't spend money on our game, it affects my profit sharing, and that's my bonus percentage. The impact of this lawsuit might mean that in March, when my newborn goes into child care and my maternity leave ends, I might not get the bonus I need to pay for that child care. And she says, I'll skip one post and go to the last one. It feels a little bit different in a way, avoiding shopping at Hobby Lobby or eating at Chick-fil-A, because most of us who signed up to join at said company had no idea what it would be like, since it's so misaligned with the company values we project. And there's a lot of truth to that statement. When you're going into a company, you are going with, what is it, the rose-colored glasses? Do I always mess that up?
You got it. Rose-colored glasses. Yeah.
Where it's like, oh my God, I'm working for this company. I'm working for that company. This is going to be awesome. And then reality hits, and it's just another company.
Don't make your heroes.
Yeah, exactly. So, with that said, I take a look at those statements, and I'm like, I kind of think I should have walked that back. Because I saw another post where one of the community strategists at Infinity War, or Sledgehammer now, whatever, for this latest Call of Duty, she was just like, I can't believe I was the one that got to announce to the world Call of Duty Vanguard. Mm-hmm. This is the coolest feeling. And I can't reward that feeling for her. I can't spotlight that on the show because I feel like a foot in my mouth, where what I should have done, I think, is what I see a lot of sites doing, which is when you're talking about Activision-Blizzard, you put at the top, there's a lawsuit going on right now, sexual harassment, racism in the company, and then start with the article. So it's at the top, people read it. And so, yeah, you get the click, you get, they get that exposure, but those people are going to read first and foremost the first paragraph that states that there's ongoing sexism and racism and harassment allegations at said company. I think also, retrospect, I think we should have went after the sponsors. I think we should have found the sponsors and literally said, hey, Coca-Cola, this is what's happening over at this company. You have your sponsors there.
Yes.
I think that is a more tactical and more powerful way of boycott. We're just like, hey, Coke, I ain't drinking another Coke product till you take that shit out of there.
Yeah.
And they'll do it lickety goddamn split because there's only 3 other like soda companies in the world. So, capitalism. So that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. Even as someone I'm still not comfortable. Like Diablo 2, I can skip since I was 8 years old.
I know. It's old.
You're old.
I was only like 34 at the time.
I know.
Baines, you've been playing Diablo for how many years?
Since the first one came out, man, 96, I think.
So 47 years?
But I like, real quick, I like the comment about the site, because one of the things I said was we are going to not stop covering their titles, but we're going to call out and cover everything going on with the Activision lawsuit, right? Like put a spotlight on what's happening. But I like the idea of putting a message at the top of every article for one of their games. We haven't done that. That's a cool idea, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's a way more impactful one because, again, Joe Schmo, who does not know anything about what's happening, that's just clicking to look at the article, look at a review score, they're going to see that.
Yeah. And one more comment just before you go, Luke, because you mentioned bonuses, profit sharing, that I forgot to mention is the sad reality of the corporate world in these situations, right, is that the people who always get hit the worst are the front end, the lower, I call them front end, but the lower ranking people, right? Because it's simple mathematics. One, they're not empowered to make these decisions. The people who are empowered to make the decisions are the ones making the $100 million a year. Mm-hmm. Two, it's an old Chris Rock joke, but if you're making $25 million a year and someone takes half, you're not starving. But if you're making $50,000 a year and someone takes half,
you're in trouble.
Yeah, he said you might have to kill a bee.
Thank God you took the right Chris Rock joke.
It's not what I thought it was going to be.
The point being is that
I was nervous.
Say your boycott does have an impact. Let's theoretically say it does, right? And the company loses, I don't know, we'll make this up, $50 million. That $50 million is going to be paid for by, Kotick or whoever losing maybe $1 million or $2. But all the people who really rely on bonuses and rely on these performance things that Joe mentioned to you, those are going to get cut. And those people need the money a lot more than someone like Kotick. It's just a sad reality.
You're right. And it's funny because as you guys are talking, I understand logic the entire way. I understand what you're saying.
You understand logic?
I'm a man of culture. Of course I do. Of course I do.
But do you see all the colors on Joe's shirt?
I do see all the colors. There's a lot of colors. Shout out to that Pride shirt. It is good looking though.
Yeah, it is. It's got a lot of colors.
It is.
A lot of colors. I'm a fan of them.
I love it.
Yeah.
Cold.
But
Nonetheless,
Luke didn't buy this shirt. He doesn't want to support a good cause.
no, I didn't want to support.
You go to listen. You go to the merch store. You buy one of these Pride shirts. 100% of the profits go straight to the Trevor Project.
Now, folks, I make XCP with no Patreon, no money, and no ad revenue. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want your time, and I want to hang out with you. You know,
For season gaming. Yeah, I don't want to hang out with you though.
that's fair.
I'm not here to be your friend.
I literally walked into a meeting and I was like, "Sorry, guys, that I've been here early. I didn't want to come. I just didn't want to be here."
Yeah. Kind of like the show that you were late for today.
I was late. And it's like, "Oh, I got to play 12 minutes. I need 12 more minutes." And we're all like, "Good joke, Ains."
You know, I'm just saying you were the last one in the lobby. I've got a witness.
I was. I specifically asked, "Do you need till 8:40?" And you clicked fire emoji, and I was like, "Oh, look at him trying to be hip." And I said, "That's cool. I'm down with it." So philosophically speaking, the listeners, I really do want to read your comments. If you guys would be so kind as to drop what you are doing into the YouTube chat or respond to us on Twitter. Let us know where you stand on this, the philosophical boycott, not like the lead the charge, definitely not going to do it kind of thing. But I do want to know where you all stand. I'm comfortable in my position that I'm not going to give Activision money this year. But I did have that conundrum, and I heard all of the counter arguments. I truly heard them. And so it is a lot to consider for sure. I also think, to call a spade, my position is made much easier by the fact that there's a lot of great games coming out and not a lot of them are Activision. So
Yes.
Like I get the hypocrisy kind of in that. And I don't want to pretend like I'm some moral high ground pedestal person when I know full well there are people that are working hard at plenty of companies, you know?
Yeah. And it's like with us in the trophy room, like I told Kyle, I was like, we're putting ourselves in a very precarious situation because who knows next week, someone at Sony is awful too. And what happens there, Like, what do we do as someone who that's our bread and butter? It's like, well, we have to cover it. Right. But that's a double standard.
Yeah.
This is the first, in my show's history, the first time we're going about this. So it's something that I'm, being cognizant of.
What, oh, damn it, man. Never mind. Go ahead, Luke.
Okay.
I forgot what I was going to say.
Ain's dementia is coming in.
I know. It's happening, guys. It's happening.
We've all seen it. I mean, he gave Biomutant a 9. Remember that? Remember that?
Ains, what's your wife's name?
Josie.
Mrs.
Oh,
Ains.
no. It's Dolores. It's Dolores.
Mrs. Ains.
Luke, we need to call a doctor.
All right. Next up on the docket, I want to talk about Square-Enix, if you guys don't mind. I have an interesting... Oh, you mind? Okay. All right. I want to talk about...
I know what I was going to say.
This was the 1 week, listeners. I said, "Hey guys, can you all prepare topics? I'm real busy." And they were like, "Sure." And Joe actually did it. I'm like, "Sweet, I'll just host this bad boy, go right on through." Interruption, disrespect.
Sure. Yeah. My CPU was clocking for about a minute. It caught up. The last point I was going to make. So we did see 4 people get let go from Blizzard last week, including...
This is your 4th last point. I want to point that out. This is your 4th last point.
4 people. 4 people got let go from Blizzard, including Diablo 4's game director, which is no small role, right? I mean, that's a lead role. Do you think there's any significance to the fact that Blizzard seems to be taking a stiffer stance and cleaning house a little more than Activision themselves? Because we haven't heard of any big, high-profile Activision departures, have we? If we have, I missed.
Because most of the cancer, from what I assume, is from Blizzard, right? So, look, a lot of people are like, Jason Schreier, who hasn't blocked me yet, but give it time. He stated on Twitter that, like, oh, now Bobby Kotick is going to be, he's going to have even more control over Blizzard. And I'm like, and who cares? Because it seems like ever since Blizzard's been a thing, it's been a pretty big shithole of a company to work at. So
it's fascinating to see, like, people like Mike Ibarra are now in bigger charge over there.
Yep, and
he's a name people like. Rod Ferguson most people like.
Ybarra was at the walkout. Jen
Yes.
O'Neill is a great sign that let's
Rod
put a woman
supported
in
it,
power
too.
here. Yeah,
One of the characters in Overwatch is named after one of the aggressors,
Yeah.
and
they-
shoutcasters are not referencing him.
Yeah.
they're taking items out in characters that are referencing abusers as well out of World of Warcraft. So they're making a lot of good steps. I feel like we're just angry still.
Of course, we should be.
Yeah.
I think we should be.
Yeah.
And I hope that, well, this goes back to the original thing. Does the anger stick around for the dollars to be spent or not spent? You know, and I don't want to round and round, but I do want listeners to tag in and let us know kind of where they're at on that.
And
front.
just one last point. No, I'm kidding.
I really was like, no, he's not. All right. Square-Enix has been. I hear Miriam in the background. Tell her I said hello.
Honest to goodness, I feel like she needs to make her cast co-op debut because she's been making so much noise, and I feel like I need to bring her on the show.
I'm ready for it. You know,
All right, I'll try to bring her on. 1 second.
All right,
you
all
talk. I know.
So, and
I thought he was joking. He's not
No,
joking.
he's not. I love me some Miriam. She's great. But I will give him crap for it. So Square Enix has had a weird year, a very weird year, and an especially weird last few months. We know they are very closely tied with Sony, which makes sense given the many years of Final Fantasy relationships. I, of course, have a unique perspective because I really like Tomb Raider. I do now enjoy Avengers and kind of where it stands now, but not the launch version. And with the release of the War for Wakanda, we've had a lot of people kind of influxing in.
All right.
Oh my God, it's Miriam!
Hi, hi everybody.
Okay, you have a lot of shit apparently you need to say.
What?
Say it
About
into-
what?
I don't know. You're making all this noise, and I just want to.
I just sing. It just comes out of me.
I have some questions about your baby boy. I have some
Okay.
questions about your baby boy. How many years has he been playing
What's
video
your thoughts
games?
on Activision-Blizzard?
Oh, many since middle school.
He's been playing since middle school, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. Has he always been a good boy, respectful, kind, or was he a handful?
Oh no, good and funny.
He's
Well,
been good.
that's debatable, but
My goodness. No, Miriam, when he plays these video games, are you ever worried about the violence getting to him? You know?
Yeah. Sometimes it gets a little loud.
Yeah. Yeah. I just worry about the way he speaks to you sometimes. You know? It's
Yeah. And you know, I
You're
can't.
shouting.
I am not shouting. He's always saying that. I am talking. This is the level of my voice. I can't help it. The way it comes out of my body.
yeah.
The mic's
Joe, you
over
let
here.
her speak.
See this 12 inches apart from the mic?
Oh.
You're leaning right into it.
Oh,
Just-
because I think I have to touch it.
No.
Okay.
12 inches like this. There you go.
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, I had to focus. Do you ever notice that when he plays video games, he gets more angry, cusses a lot more, he's disrespectful, that kind of thing?
Not disrespectful, but he does get angry. He does cuss.
Oh,
Cusses all the time.
we try to talk to him about it.
Right? Don't you cuss?
I mean, yeah, everybody fucking cusses.
Yes. See, you just cussed.
That's disrespectful. You know, I just want to make sure he's treating his mom right. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he's good.
he's good.
But he's always telling me to be quiet. That's the only thing I don't like.
Oh,
He's always telling me to shh, shh. Now, Ma, I'm going to talk to my friends now, so keep it down. Don't go Puerto Rican on me. You know, stuff like that.
stuff like that. That just sounds disrespectful that he would do that. You know?
But yeah, it's continuously. I tell him to put a note on his door. That way I remember that he's doing whatever he does, videotaping,
Oh, is this what
podcasting.
it is? You think this is videotaping?
What are you
This
doing?
is podcasting. This is the internet.
Podcasting.
2021.
There's a whole bunch of words.
Miriam,
A lot of them.
I've been on the
Well, I think
microphone
this
with Joe
fits from
before
its
when he
course.
quotes one of our friends, Kevin. And Kevin often says some very, very inappropriate things to you and about you. And Joe tells you those things. And I just want to
I'm nervous.
apologize. I just want to apologize. It's got to be rough. You know, my friend Kevin, he's so disrespectful and inappropriate.
I think all you guys probably are.
What?
On the,
Miriam!
on podcasting. You guys are all together. You're all guys, testosterone. So you throw out all these bad words. That's
I
what
try
I'm
to
thinking.
tell him not to. I do.
Okay, I have a feeling you're more respectful.
He's
The
a
one
little
on
older.
top
He's a little more
left.
mature.
Yes.
Very true.
Very good. What's his name?
His name's Ainsley.
Ainsley. Oh, that's a different nice name. And him?
That's Luke Lore. He says awful things.
What's
about
his
me.
name?
Luke Lore. He says awful.
Luke
things about me.
Lore?
Yeah.
Very
Your last name is Lore?
Yes, yes, it is.
All right. Well, listen, guys. This bit's run its course.
You have a nice name too, Luke, like Star Wars.
That's right. Thank you.
You just
Or
made his night.
Luke. Or Luke.
He just cut her off. Like, it's just cut the tape.
I had so many things I wanted to like poke
I
at.
was going to say, what was the most embarrassing moment Joe ever had in school, and just see if she would have said something. But I don't know if I wanted to put that on blast for Joe.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Oh man, I had
Might
things
cross
like
the line.
I wanted to do, but I was like, no, I can't do. I can't bring the mothers into this. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's his mother. It's Miriam.
We are
Attractive
never
lady.
topping that cameo, by the way.
Never.
No.
Never. It's attractive lady. Hey.
That's my mother you're talking about.
We're never topping that cameo, Joe. That was brilliant.
She's something all right. She's saying I'm cursing? What's she saying?
I told Luke that I was going to ask her to tell us your most embarrassing moment you ever had in school, but I thought that might have been a little too out there.
She thinks you were a good kid.
I know. How'd you fool her?
What
I don't
happened?
know,
What
man.
is that?
Years of trickery. Yeah.
That's crazy.
All right, talk about Square-Enix now.
Square-Enix. All right, so we got way off course there. War for Wakanda just came out. That's brought, of course, a lot of people back to Avengers to at the very least play the sorry, Ainsley, you want to speak. The Black Panther storyline. I don't know that this is going to keep people into the looter part of the game, but there is a fun, well-acted story there.
I actually did see that it increased the player count by something like 220%, which so now it's like
30.
17 people.
17. That makes sense. That makes sense. This is a good and well-acted story there. The inherent problems of the looter shooter are also there, which brings up the amusing aspects that, one, they're making Guardians of the Galaxy, which will follow the more single-player parts of Avengers in a Guardians game, but also it brought up the Outriders conversation, as the Outriders developers are out here saying that Square has not paid them, and Square arguing perhaps that it's because of money not being recouped in terms of profitability. Mind you, for context, back when Outriders launched into the world, it also landed on Game Pass, very well talked about, lots of people playing it. All three of us played over 30 hours, so all three of us must have had a good time. Otherwise, we would have stopped after 5, because if it wasn't fun, why would we keep playing? It ran its course.
Right at you, Ains.
You know?
Might as well just say your name.
So it's just interesting and odd that Square is
Game has
having
good
these...
loot. Biomutant. Carry on.
Did you play 30 hours of Biomutant?
I played like 80 hours of Biomutant.
Okay, so you're operating on a scale of just ridiculousness there. Oh God! Don't ever make fun of me in Crackdown ever again. Never again. But I just find it interesting that Square's paying or not paying its developers. It's got some weird publishing things going on. They made that exclusive deal for Spider-Man and Avengers, which is now looking like it's going to hurt the game, not help it. They've got this exclusivity with PlayStation for Final Fantasy content. There's just some odd stuff going on, and I wanted to know if anyone else's eyebrows raised.
Yeah, because the weirdest thing they said is People Can Fly said is we don't know how many copies it sold, and I was like, how? That makes no sense whatsoever. How can a deal be so bad with a publisher that the publisher is not even obligated to let the developer know how many copies have sold? I don't understand how that could even be possible. And of course, you didn't specifically mention anything with Game Pass, but I don't know if you're headed there, but the conversation came up around, did Game Pass have a negative impact here? And I think what a lot of people are saying is, no, the game just wasn't that great. And the other interesting thing is, if it's sold, they said they think 2 to 3 million copies, right? Wasn't that their estimate?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you sold 2.5 or 3 million copies of your game, and you had a Game Pass deal on top of it, and you still weren't profitable on a AA game, that's a problem in and of itself as well. What the hell were you doing in development?
That is exactly where I was going. 2 to 3 million in sales is nuts. And Square consistently has the problem where they will place just astronomical expectations on their games. The Tomb Raider reboot is a wonderful example of that. That game was fantastic, as were its 2 sequels. Just unbelievably great games. Sold very well. But Square was expecting it to do nearly double what it would have. And I don't have the number in front of me, but it was just excessive. And it's like, yo, you've got a multi-million selling game with DLC that people are spending money on, and you're disappointed in its sales, and critically, it reviewed out the wazoo. Commercially, did very well, and Square not happy with it. Just boggles my mind. Outriders did exactly what I needed it to do. I had 30 hours of a blast. I'm never touching it again. At least I don't plan to. I had so much fun for 30 hours, and I was done. Yeah. That's what we'll do. How many of us can be so happy to have 30 hours of a good time? That's a great thing for a game.
So I think there's even a little bit more into it, at least from what I read in one of these articles, because I didn't keep track so intensely into all the rigmarole, but I got this one from Eurogamer from Wensley Gimpool, where pretty much, let me see. Right here, I think I put it in bold. The CEO of People Can Fly says perhaps it was caused by some elements of Square-Enix sales policies, the details of which we don't know, such as partnerships concluded by the publisher with distribution platforms or entities offering Outriders as an addition to their products. To me, I read that quote as, okay, so I feel like what happened was Square-Enix, People Can Fly, wrote a contract 3 to 4 years ago, where Game Pass was in its infancy. A few months ago, Microsoft, so they didn't have this game can't be in a service of X, Y, or Z, right, until X amount of date. Probably not there in the contract. And again, not a lawyer, but that's from what the quote's saying. That's what I'm reading into it as. A couple months ago, Microsoft walks up to Square Enix and goes, hey, I'd like to give you a boatload of money for this new IP, because we understand new IPs are, they're really hard to promote. And this is going to be a great tool for that and eliminate some of the risks. So here you go. And I feel like it's Square taking advantage of a loophole by saying, okay, well, we got this ton of money from Xbox or from Microsoft. So we're financially okay. And this deal probably, again, from what I'm reading here, doesn't have anything in terms of, how many downloads this game's going to hit on X platform will get us X royalties out of it. That's what I kind of read at it as it from. So all of a sudden there's one platform that's just taken out of the equation, and it probably did hurt their bottom line. And so I read it as, yeah, you could say that Xbox Game Pass hurt, but to me, it's more like Square Enix took advantage of a contract. And again, Ainge, you're in the corporate sector, so you could probably tell me if and when I'm full of shit. But that's what I took that. Thank you. That's what I took it as.
You could be spot on, but I mean, I don't have any insight that you don't have. But it could very well be something like that. I think, end of the day, like I said, if you have a Game Pass deal, whatever it was worth, we don't know, right? And on top of that, sold 2 to 3 million copies, and you're not profitable, that as a developer, that's a problem. Even either with your development process, right, and whatever you did to make the game, and or it's a problem with your contract with the publisher. And what you're alluding to is that, right? There's basically that Square-Enix took advantage of a contract that made sure they made money and didn't really care about People Can Fly. Highly possible. But something's weird there. I don't know the intricacies of how these publishing deals work. I don't think hardly any of us do, right? Because they're secretive for a reason. And I think I'll just reiterate, if you're a developer that makes a game that sells a few million copies and is on Game Pass at in addition to being on Game Pass at launch, and you don't make money, there's obviously a breakdown there somewhere.
What's interesting to me is what damage this might do to Square's future partnerships.
Yeah,
if indeed
exactly.
Square did take advantage of a contract, and People Can Fly, I'm talking to my friends in the industry and letting people know.
Yeah,
and that's got to be compelling.
Yeah, and not to pick on Avengers, Luke, in all seriousness, but wasn't there a report that like a few months after launch, like they were like 60 million down, like they lost like $60 million on that launch of that game? Which is crazy. I mean, that's not an insignificant amount of money.
No. There's a couple things that factored into it. The dual generation approach costed
to develop what you mean?
Correct. Yes. Okay. To try and have multiple versions of it. They had to have multiple playable heroes that all felt distinct, which is why they're such weak villains at launch. And then their marketing was really high. They did set pieces on parts of the game that didn't make sense. There was a lot of problems with that launch version. And interestingly, they're now making good money. They're now making a lot of money on Avengers. And on good authority, they're doing quite well now. But they did lose a lot of money there. And that happens with a lot of AAA development. Even Halo Infinite's had numbers that are reported pretty high for development. Mind you, they made an engine, which is different.
Right.
But I think there's got to be context in some of these things, because some companies are really doing it wrong. If you're spending that much money, you've got nothing to show for it. And you have to wonder if it's just bad management, but you see it happen in lots of places. And yeah, they botched that Avengers launch. They spent way too much money. They lost a ton of money. They overpromised, underdelivered with fractured gameplay. There were 2 games in there, neither of which were great.
Yeah.
And they're only now finding their footing, which is awesome.
Which is good now. And it's good that Crystal Dynamics has however they're managing it, whether it's publishing, however they're funding, right, to continue developing for that game. Mm-hmm. But like for People Can Fly, which is a AA studio, I'd say, right? Is that fair?
That's fair.
If they spent, let's say, the past 4 years making this game, Outriders, I'm talking about, obviously, spent 4 years, and they're now 6 months post-launch, something like that, right? 5 months post-launch, and they say they haven't seen any money from it. So you're now going to be coming up on 5 years where technically you haven't really been seeing a lot of income. You might have income from older games, older deals, what have you, other things that you've contributed on. But your core game that you were launching as a new IP to be this big IP you're not making money on. How do you deal with that? How do you stay afloat? That's not going to last long. That obviously can't last long. So
yeah,
that's strange to me as well.
It's a matter of setting expectations and delivering on what you're saying. If you say you're going to have a looter shooter, you need to deliver that. If you go to Twitch right now, as I did, 397 viewers for Outriders. But they would say they're not a live service game.
It's higher than I thought it was going to be.
Honestly,
the game's not built for that. 390, like less than 400 people are streaming it. Are viewing it, I should say. If they had just done that as a one and done shot, to me I played 30 hours of that game and had fun. But they tried to promise it. Maybe they didn't. It was promised in many places, similar to a Destiny. It's not that. No. It's not that. Set the appropriate expectations for the consumer and the gamer.
And I agree completely, but we're not even saying the problem is sales. What we're saying is if your new IP from a AA company sells 2 to 3 million units, and again, I keep saying it, but in addition to this Game Pass deal, that I would think that's considered a success. If you're the CEO of People Can Fly, whatever his name is, you just said, right? If you're going into this launch and thinking to yourself, wow, we've got to sell 5 million units of this new IP early in the year from a AA perspective, and we're not a big developer that's going to garner the attention as some major players, you've miscalculated badly.
Agree. I think there's no other thing to say other than absolutely.
Yeah, from now what I'm gathering for all you guys, it kind of just looks like a shit show all around.
It does. Yeah, it really does.
And again, the problem is, to your point, Joe, we don't really know. So it might not have been that, right? The CEO might have been under the expectation that, hey, if we sell 1.5 million copies, anything over that is gravy and we're going to be financially in good shape. But somewhere along the line with this contract that didn't occur. Now let's keep in mind, of course, he just can't come out and say that. In these contracts, there's all kinds of NDAs. There's a whole bunch of things you can't talk about, right? So he may be living the reality that, look, we were successful. What we did was successful, but we've got a serious problem over here legally that we're going to have to deal with. We don't know. It could be either or a combination of both.
The fact that it was public leads me or raises my interest level.
Yes. Yeah.
Now I got an original topic for you guys before we
original. Wrote it yourself.
Yeah, original.
Came up with it yourself.
Yeah.
100%. No other sources.
No other sources that I come to mind other than comicbook.com.
Holy shit, Joe. I was literally about to make that joke.
Yeah. If Xbox comes around, they buy People Can Fly.
Oh, we're in acquisition talk, huh? We've moved to acquisition.
Of course, if we've run out of ideas, this is what we go to. If we run out of meaningful things to talk about, does that mean PlayStation's dead? Do you think that's the nail in the coffin?
Easily.
Luke, what are your thoughts?
I think it's the 19th nail in the coffin.
That is it. Like, how many nails do you need at this point?
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. Okay, Luke, you.
I mean, it's over. It's over.
Okay, this has been a constructive conversation. Thank you.
That's right. All caps.
Like, share, subscribe.
All caps. Please.
The sad thing is, People Can Fly, all jokes aside, is a talented studio, right?
That's a fun game. Yes.
Well, I didn't say that. I said
it was a fun game, and you played 30 hours of it. God.
That's because, unlike some other people I know, I don't play 2 hours and then criticize a game I didn't really experience. But anyway,
listen, I said that Biomutant had colors and culture. What the hell you want else from me?
Fair. It had both of those things. Both
in the first, it did.
But they are talented, right? Even if you go back to Bulletstorm, which kind of gave them the name, right, and let them grow as a studio.
Gears Judgment gave them the name.
No. It's Bulletstorm.
Gears
as
Judgment,
much as I don't like that game, it's Bulletstorm.
But Gears Judgment was a better game than Bulletstorm.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But my point being, they obviously didn't come up with Gears, right? They were just brought on as a studio to develop a Gears entry.
No, whereas it was an all-original game. It was an all-original game.
Where Bulletstorm was... Point made. They have talent in the studio. So it would be a shame if nothing comes from this, damn it.
I love that, like, there's some listener out there that's like, what is happening right now? And then there's just like few that are like,
three don't even sound like they like each other.
And then one guy's in the background like, that's not an original topic.
Why'd they bring their mother on the show?
Crazy.
Checking their notes.
Why do they keep muting their dogs? This is nuts.
It's nuts.
Oh gosh. Hey, 12 minutes is out.
It is.
Ains, you played it.
I have.
You played what, 2 hours of it? You got a review for us?
Game of the year?
Review will be...
Sorry, you need another 28 hours to review that one?
Review will be out probably by Saturday, I'd say.
Okay.
Oh, man. Is that... You going to have enough time? You can get 30 hours in on that one?
Well, no.
Ains, that felt so flat. Ains was just like, how's it going with this one?
No.
Jeez.
It is... Have you guys played it? At all?
No, I've heard either hot or cold things on it.
Yeah, so it seems to be, I haven't looked, but it was sitting in, I think, like high sevens, I think, like average on OpenCritic, something like that. So, very good.
So
game.
Terrible,
yeah, unplayable. So anyway, very good game, and maybe not stellar, but it's one of the most interesting games I've played in a long time. It's literally like an old point-and-click adventure game. So get your expectations, like, to walk around in the apartment, you literally put your cursor over here, click the button, and he walks. It's an old school point and click. The thing that's really interesting about it so far, I've done maybe 15 runs, and you've seen the premise, right? So this thing happens, you get 12 minutes, and then it starts over. But each time I've thought to myself, okay, well, I did this time. Maybe I'll try this next time, and I do it, and the game has responded in a way that is really more dynamic than I expected. I've done all sorts of different scenarios already where it's like, well, shit, I didn't expect that. Then it restarts and it's like, well, maybe I'll change this time, right? And there's various things around the apartment you can pick up and interact with and kind of mix and match. Like I've done all kinds of stuff, and I don't want to say any of them because I've already seen like it's going to be very easy for people online to spoil aspects of this game. And I don't mean the story, but like I saw someone post a screenshot earlier of a scene they were doing, and I was like, well, I didn't think about doing that. You know what I mean? And it's like that didn't. So if you don't want that to happen to you, I would mute everything 12 minutes over the next few days, because sadly people are going to be sharing stuff. But so far I really like it. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily as groundbreaking as maybe, many of us hoped it would be, but it is very unique. It's very well done so far. And I'm very excited to talk to the creator next week, actually. About like how he did certain things in this game, because the way it's coded and the way things are dynamic is really cool.
That's awesome. Luis Antonio is his name?
Yeah, I'm actually so I'll have my one-on-one interview with him up on Tuesday of next week.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
Plug.
24th.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome.
You know,
Death Door,
games too.
Hades, 12 minutes. Man, it's good time for some of the smaller games arriving.
Play Art of Rally if you like racing games.
Oh, that's cool. Joe, you're playing a racing game.
Yeah, I've been playing Dirt 5 for the past 2 days. I'm not like a racing guy, so I can't tell you, heads or tails and many things about racing games. I can't do it. But like Dirt was like, I think dirt cheap on the PlayStation Summer Sale for like 19.
That's a low bar, Joe. That's a low bar.
Come on, all the white shit you guys have said for this show.
We didn't make one joke about it. We took us 12 minutes to play 12 minutes, not once. You had to go with the dirt.
You said something like rigmarole or something.
You said that.
That was you. You did that.
You whites are corrupting me. Anyway, so
what do you mean, you whites?
What do you mean? I'm offended. But yeah, Dirt 5. I've been playing a little bit of it because I want to know what the haptics are going to feel like on a racing title, just to get my feet wet. And out of pure curiosity and knowing it's an easy plat, let me tell you something. I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I would. Again, not a racing guy. Humble brag, I'm winning almost every race. And the thing that I love the most about it, and I'm going to plug this DualSense controller, it really feels great. Like accelerating really feels like I'm pushing the pedal on the gas and like braking. I feel like I'm like shifting gears when I'm drifting. It feels really nice. Like if you're into the DualSense and what it can do, Dirt 5 may be that title for you.
What happens when you have to repair that controller, though?
You know what? I didn't think about that. Damn.
You better.
I should have thought about that when I bought my car too. Because I mean, what happens when I need an oil change?
Yeah.
Oh my god! I didn't even think
You
about
just
that.
lease a new car is what you really should do.
You just throw it in the toilet.
Yeah.
Joe, will you, if you get a chance, will you play like 5 minutes of the Xbox version? It's on Game Pass, I think. I would love to know a comparative like controller experience for you, because the DualSense, in my limited experience, felt very gimmicky. I think we talked about that on one of the recent episodes.
Yeah.
And if this game is doing
it,
I do lack culture. It's true. Mrs. Ghost and I, we struggle with the culture.
I get it.
She maybe never mind.
You guys appropriate it all the time. I understand.
If you could kind of report back on the differences, I would love to hear it, because Miles Morales was my main PlayStation game, and
I love when you're shifting gears. It does like the haptic feedback does like do this kick at the bottom grips upwards. So it does give me like this tactical feeling like I'm driving a car. I really like it. I know I'm like a slut for this haptic feedback nonsense. I can't get enough of it. But that said, I'm playing Hades as well on the PlayStation 5.
So good.
Oh my god, my goodness, yeah, it's a stellar roguelike, dude. It is
damn good,
damn good, and it gives me that reward, the synapse in my brain's firing off when like I defeat a boss, because some people on the internet don't understand what roguelikes are. You're building an imperfect build, you're making do with what you have, and then when you beat the boss, you have that feeling of, yes, how Hades works is you're going through room from room into a dungeon. Each room has a power-up. They either increase your character's health or a character's abilities or the weapon's abilities, and then you hit the boss, and then you fight the boss. And
I don't get it. You've lost.
I know. I got it. I understand. It may be a little bit too high level for you. But, like, depending on the build that you're kind of whipping up on the fly, you have to change up your play style, and so you're never kind of, you're kind of having to change it up every time you're running, even if it's a different weapon. And if you die, it still feels like it's on you. Nothing feels cheap to me. Every death, it's well earned. It's like, yeah, okay, I understand that. I understand why I failed here. But like when you defeat a boss, it gives me that little reward that I have in my head when I beat like a Soulsborne, boss.
Where I want to be 90% of the deaths though aren't my fault. Just an average. Yeah,
I want to be.
Couldn't be
real
you.
Clear
Couldn't
here.
be your.
No,
your
can't be. 10%. I'll give you 10%, but maybe 20. But yeah,
how about 11?
Game's kind of broken.
That's fair. It's not fair to you. I get it.
No,
I stopped listening to you a while ago because I didn't care what you were saying. But
That's fair.
I did want to note that this improves upon the roguelike formula even better than Dead Cells. If Dead Cells was the one that like got me in terms of like the dying and going forward, Hades did a good job of that. And every death has been so fair. No, I beat Meg. And the Gorgon, is that right? Medusa Gorgon? I don't know. But I put it down because work got busy.
Just say you didn't play the fucking game.
I'm in the Medusa Gorgon.
Well, the hair.
I'm in the Medusa Oblongatus.
I beat Meg. I beat her twice, actually.
Whoa.
But I know that becomes a normal thing. I stopped playing in favor of War for Wakanda because I only had a little bit of time. Fair. But I love Hades. I really love Hades.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Yeah. But honestly, like, the one thing I will say about Hades is
I know who my mom is, and I'm stopped listening again. I know who my mom is in Hades. My real mother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you played it for about 20 minutes?
No, it took me 3 hours to get there.
So Hades is great. The DualSense on Hades sucks. I was gonna say that. Like the DualSense, they were talking about the adaptive triggers on there. I'm like, nothing crazy. It's just the 4K and the 60 FPS. That's it. Which is like, can't you go a little crazier? Give me 120, but is what it is.
You're buying a lot of games on PlayStation you could get on Game Pass, and I think that is cool because it speaks to the power of like what ecosystem that matters to you, like where your achievements are, your trophies. Because I would absolutely do the same thing in reverse for achievements and keeping my gamer score to be a good barometer of stuff.
Part of it is I host a PlayStation show. So if I'm not in that ecosystem, why am I doing the show? And the other thing is, it's not like I'm not buying these games on Game Pass. Or sorry, trying them out on Game Pass because I am. So like I tried out Hades. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to really like this. I use Game Pass a lot as my demo as to like, okay, I'm going to really like this. And now I'm going to play it on either Switch or PlayStation. Or I'm like, I'm digging it. And I'm going to stay here because I think that the trophies would be too hard to get. And I'll play it on Xbox. But most of the time,
an interesting viewpoint because what you're saying essentially, now anecdotally, it's just you, but there has to be other people like that Game Pass can even increase sales for the publisher, even non-Xbox platforms.
Yes, and that the way I see it too is like I'm just supporting the developer even more. I've seen a few people come at me going, "Oh, well, if you're it's on Game Pass, I'm like, "Yeah, I have it on Game Pass." Well, why'd you buy it? I hate that.
It's a stupid question. Why does it matter to someone you don't know?
Yeah, it's like, well, first off, you can't have this thing of like Game Pass only helps game sales, and then when I buy the game on another platform after playing it on Game Pass, you're just like, why'd you buy it? Like, it's on Game Pass. It's like you understand how that's a conflicting thought. So just let me be me. No, absolutely no. So yeah, it's just me. The way I also see it is like I'm supporting the developer even more. So Supergiant, I hope you got as much money as you can because that game's spectacular. I will say though,
published by Square-Enix, I hope.
No, they're safe. They're safe. I will say I don't know what I like more, Hades or Returnal. I think they're both stellar. I think critically, Hades is better, but the game that I've had more fun with is Returnal because I feel like there's more risk in Returnal and it's more active. If that makes sense.
On a different show, we should go into that because Hades is $20. and Returnal is 70, and that would be an interesting thing to break down. I don't want to do it this episode because we're running a bit long, but that would be a really legitimately good conversation to have.
Write it down. Put it in the notes.
Yeah,
that's actually.
I was going to say I'm kind of with you, Joe. I don't know if I could decide between those two either.
Yeah.
I know most people probably have Hades higher and it won all sorts of awards, but Returnal was really special to me, and I think it does. No doubt, it was. It's a. I hate to say AAA, but it offers things that other roguelites in the indie / single A genre don't. Returnal does, that I find really interesting. Yeah, I'm down for that.
And I again, with Hades, there's certain weapons where like you can really just hang back and you're not exploring the battlefield, where Returnal's a dance where you are jumping through that room.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. Yeah, you can't stay in one place. So that's why I kind of dig Returnal a little bit more in that aspect. But in Hades, you could save your game. And if it crashes, you're not absolutely boned.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
I also, a quick plug for Rogue Legacy if you've never played Rogue Legacy.
I have not. Kyle loves Rogue Legacy.
One of my favorite. It might still be my favorite roguelike ever. It's just so damn good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luke could care less. He wants to go play his.
No, he's ready to go to sleep. He wants to go play his Avengers.
Go for it. Then Luke, just get us out of here then.
Well, on the next episode, we will have thoughts on Aliens Fireteam, which we're looking forward to checking out and playing. We'll have thoughts on 12 minutes in a more complete, succinct way. And I think there's a few other releases.
Psychonauts 2.
That's it. Yep, that was the
big
one
for me. Yeah,
Psychonauts 2.
And maybe by the time this comes out, would I have played Fist?
First week of September is our next show.
Yeah, so maybe I would have. No, I wouldn't have.
I don't remember when that
Boy,
comes
out
out.
of context, I have no clue what you're talking about. Fist?
Yeah.
It's it's a new indie game coming out. Looks pretty solid.
Okay, cool. I looked back in our last episode YouTube
Just
comments.
so you know, Luke, I'm holding back.
I know. I appreciate it, buddy. I was holding back too. It makes you feel better.
Good. Likewise.
No. Damn it! I'm trying to. I'm very tired.
Just talk to my mother, Luke. Respect.
I know. I'm trying to be respectful here. No questions for us in last week's YouTube comments, but we did have some good discussion points from Dano there. And then one guy said that he wants to have timestamps and that they would be nice. So if anybody else wants to do that, I will not be doing that. I do not, yeah.
The problem,
Sorry,
in all
guys.
seriousness, the problem with trying to timestamp this show is that we are generally all over the place. We do have core topics we talk about, but we jump around a lot.
Yeah.
So maybe we could put like 3 or 4 maybe per episode for core things, but we're all over the place, man. It's not like a normal podcast where it's like topic.
Yeah.
That's not how we roll.
That's true. It's true. But we do appreciate you listening. That much is true.
Yes, we do.
That much is true. Guys, you can find me on the Xbox Expansion Pass each and every week on all your podcast services, including youtube.com/Xbox Expansion Pass. The next episode will be my 96th episode. I have had a bonus episode as well, and I've got a few more on the way. I'm very excited to be sharing those. So I'm ready to celebrate 100. If you've not already checked out XEP, it would mean the world if you did. Mr. Bowden?
Yeah, so you're already on the channel. So if you're not already subscribed, please do. SeasonGaming.com, obviously visiting the site. A few new contributors joining the crew over at SG, which is great to see. New pieces coming out soon from them. And then stay tuned as you're listening to this next week. Definitely pay attention to the channel because I've got a few kind of big conversations coming. We've got reviews. We've got a lot of new stuff we're kind of doing. Which will be really good. And lastly, just before you go, Joe, in all seriousness, I felt like giving a shout out to these two co-hosts. Specifically, and I know our community already knows this, but the content that they create specifically for Xbox and PlayStation is second to none. And I mean that quite literally. I listen to a lot of shows and I do a lot of research for the site. And I do a lot of research on YouTube channels. I mean, it's endless. It's every day. And I've listened to every Xbox podcast you can name and every PlayStation podcast you can name. And there are a lot of them that are very popular out there that don't give you a whole lot. Whereas XEP and Trophy Room are truly genuine. The guys are fantastic. Obviously, these two co-hosts and Kyle in the picture as well. And it's just these types of shows, XEP and Trophy Room they deserve more attention. And so if you are a fan of either platform, please check them out, give them a chance, because I promise you, from a genuine standpoint and real information standpoint, they're giving you more than these other big name shows that, may be kind of in the mainstream. So just wanted to say that.
I appreciate that, Ains. I got a question for you. You take check, or is that the direct deposit?
So I'll give you the email to my rep at Square-Enix. He should be getting back to me. I haven't heard from him, but
okay,
yeah.
Please.
They say they're real good. They're real timely.
Yeah. There's something about being tied up. I don't know. He sent me a picture of a beach, and I don't know what that was supposed to mean. But
yeah. No, thank you so much, Ains. And honestly, right back at you. I watch a lot of shows, maybe way too many of them. And Bitcast, I genuinely feel like I think I missed 2 weeks ago, and I genuinely feel like I missed out. And I love to see what you're doing and how that show's transforming, and whoever the fourth, permanent chair will be. I can't wait to see, because you're in a transformative moment. It's really exciting to see how Bitcast has already evolved, but where it's going to be going from here. Because you guys talk factual. There's no catchy, thumbnail of people going, oh, it's real stuff, man. And that's what we try to do as well with the trophy room, is like try to balance. Hey, we do need to have a headline that gets someone here, but it's not like I'm going to name a game that's, I'm not going to say Kana's the game of the year and it's not even out yet.
What are you talking about? It's got to be.
And that's going to be my headline. It's
9.7?
That's not what we're going to do. Well, probably 9.8. Yeah, I'm being generous.
Those are Ascent numbers, guys. Calm down.
I played 40 minutes of the Ascent. I thought that was a little bit too much. But I do want to give that game another shake. The patch is out, so...
I've played nearly 30 hours.
Did you enjoy the 30 hours? Because that didn't mean anything for you.
No, I enjoyed parts of it. You can read my complaints. It's a good game. It is not a great game.
Yeah.
And my cat has joined in the last moment here. Hello, sir.
Oh, and it's butthole. That's great.
That's what I want. He always shows it on camera. Yeah, he doesn't like to look at the camera.
Oh my God, it's just flaunting it. Settle down.
Put your tail down, sir. Put your tail down. There you
go. There's company.
Joe, where do they find you on the Twitters?
You can find me at Mr. Babbitt. You can find the Trophy Room at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. You can find the Trophy Room Show over at PS Trophy Room on Twitter. You can find the Trophy Room and PlayStation Podcast over on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and the video version on YouTube. And there you go. That's where you can find me.
All right,
where can they find you, guys?
Did I not say? You can find me on Twitter at Insipid Ghost.
There you go.
Insipid Ghost.
He's tired. He's a little cranky boy.
It's been a rough week.
He didn't get his nap today, Joe. He didn't get his nap.
We're back at work. There's no more naps, guys.
Oh. How do you function?
I was about to say the same thing.
It's been rough. Joe, take us on out.
Keep casting that co-op.
That was his best one yet.
That was way too clean.
I didn't stutter. You know what? Wait.
God. No, I was complimenting you.
Keep casting that co-op.